You're listening to 50 Pirates in 50 Days on the Sports Objective Podcast. A new era of East Carolina football is here and will begin on August 31st when Mike Houston leads the Pirates into action at NC State. Between now and then, join us for a daily trip down memory lane as we experience Pirate football through the words of the men who made those memorable moments happen. Here's your host, Bubba Rosenbaum.
Well, we call him the captain, Bubba, because he has a very special title, very special player in ECU football history.
Yeah, very excited to begin this 50 days, or 50 Pirates in 50 days feature, I should say, going from now, July 12th, all the way up until August 30th, the day before kickoff against NC State. Now, I'm very excited to have the East Carolina's all-time passing leader, Shane Carden, on the line.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. We wanted to start off, we know a lot about ECU. Very excited for you. Can you catch up Pirate Nation? I know that offensive coordinator, now your head coach. How does it feel to be a head coach now? Can we call you, I guess we could call you coach instead of captain.
That's it, man. That's it. And it's fun. It's been a great change, man. It's fun to get around. It's a small community up here, and just kind of building a culture that I think fits and that I believe in, and it's very similar to obviously some coaches that I've been underneath that I truly love playing for, and being this closely removed from playing, there's a lot of things that I know there's just little things that I know bother kids or kids want that may not think about, but it's been a lot of fun. Getting a good coaching staff around me obviously is a very important thing, and we're in a bit of a, like I said, cultural building, rebuilding kind of phase, a bit like ECU is right now. I've been doing a lot of following with Mike Houston, kind of see how he's been doing it, obviously from afar. It'd be great to go inside and kind of see the day-to-day operation, what he's doing, but everything looks good on the outside, and it's exciting to see. So it'll be exciting to see this season, what they put out in the field.
One question I had, Shane, is I know you just started the head coaching job there, but would you ever like to be at the college level, like coming back to Greenville and coaching for the Pirates?
I'm never not going to say it's not out there. I think right now I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Right.
Doing this, getting to affect some kids that wouldn't have that opportunity to be around some coaching. And it's just, you see it, man. The development from my first day a year ago to now. Some of these kids have made strides where I've heard it from people around town. I've heard it from older coaches. Like I didn't see this kid being what he is now, and it's fun to see, and the kids, going from the weight room and getting them in there more, and all of a sudden I got this kid who, was on and off a little bit last year, and now he's our starting middle linebacker because he put in all that work.
And what's great, with Bubba and I, Bubba's still coaching, I've coached, and now you're coaching. 3 coaches on this interview right now. It's great to see a kid. When you believe in a kid, you can see you see their greatness before they see their greatness. That's a very special feeling.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think the best part about it is when they see a little progression, they start seeing their greatness, and then, it's a special thing, and especially at the high school level, because you get kids who are kind of growing in, and all of a sudden they grow a foot and, work out for a couple months, and they put on, 20 pounds and get strong, and it's great. It's fun to be around, and it's fun to be a part of, kids' lives in that spot, because, I had some great high school coaches that, really helped me out and molded me into someone that was ready to play at the next level, and obviously the coaches at the next level really got me there. And
Shane, I want to ask also about recruiting with Mike Houston. I know Idaho is a long ways from Greenville and North Carolina. Can you start a pipeline to some great Pirates from Idaho?
I hope so, man. I'll definitely hype it up. We got to get some kids to that level. We got to make sure they're ready to go and be there. I think like you guys would understand, you're not gonna even as much as you love a kid, you got to be realistic about where they're at. So yeah, absolutely, man. If we get some kids going D1, I'm gonna call Mike right away and make sure they know exactly what's going on up here.
All right, sounds good to me.
Now, Shane, for our listeners that aren't aware, so you're in Haley, Idaho, I believe that's correct, in Wood River High School. Like you said, you're the offensive coordinator offensive coordinator there a season ago. So talk a little bit about what size school that is, like where you are in the state and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're in kind of Idaho's kind of like your hand with your thumb out right there in the middle, kind of south there. It's a 4A school up here. We've been on and off for a while. We got a smaller football team. Soccer's pretty big up here. We got a really good soccer team, and unfortunately that's in football as well. So a lot of good athletes are playing that. But we got some kids. We're up in a high elevation up here that we go play schools that are kind of off the mountains a little bit. And being up in the elevation always helps a little bit. But yeah, like I said, it's a building year. We got a great freshman class coming in that we're building a culture around. And it's going to be something special. There's some light at the end of this tunnel that last year wasn't too successful. But there's successful moments, and I really think moving forward we got something to work with. And I think what we were talking about earlier, when you see the success that can come and the greatness that's there, when you see that slowly starting to develop, I mean, it's something special for sure.
During your time at ECU, the inside receivers coach was, of course, Donnie Kirkpatrick, and now he's the offensive coordinator. So give us a little glimpse behind the scenes, what it's like working with DK and what he will bring to the table as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Donnie was great, and I spent a lot of time with him, obviously, as a receivers coach, making sure we're all on the same page. And he's a fiery coach. A lot like Lincoln, where it wasn't like we can get away with this or this. It was, hey, this is how we want it. That's how it has to be, and we're not falling short of that. And that's why he's been so successful, and that's why he'll continue to be so successful. I'm really looking forward to seeing Donnie as the OC and see what he can do at ECU. I'm sure he's excited to be back. He was there before Ruff, stayed with Ruff and then left, and it's going to be a great coach to be there. And like I said, I'm excited to see him.
Dave, do you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Shane, I wanted to ask you. We talked a lot about Mike Houston, and I know that you've been very diplomatic as much as you can for the last few years. But you were talking about the rebuilding a little bit earlier in the interviews. I know you're in Idaho, but I know how big a Pirate you are. Obviously, you're the captain. How are you feeling about going into this season versus the previous three?
Well, they used to always say, man, everyone rooted for the backup quarterback because he can never do any wrong, right? It's kind of the same deal. You got a new coach in. Everyone's excited for change. Change is good until it's not.
Right.
You really look at it, you can't get much lower, but you can't. We still want a few games. That being said, everything I've seen, everything I've listened to, I just see it getting better. I don't see a way that it would stay the same or get worse. I'm really buying into what I'm hearing. And again, it's all off season, right? Nothing matters until the first game and the second game, and wins and losses. It's a business of winning. And you can say all the right things, and your kids can be great. And unfortunately, college football is a game winning, man. And you could have perfect grades with all your kids and this and that, and that's great. But again, coaches get hired and fired for winning. And like I said, every inclination that I'm seeing shows us getting better. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
One thing I've been telling the guys, I cover practice, Shane, and you obviously knew I know practice is not the same because of different coaches, but the coaches, it felt like under Montgomery it was more of a pro-style practice, and now it's back to kind of like old school, in your face. A lot of those guys with Donnie K and Shankweiler and Jeff Hansen and all those guys have like 40 years of coaching, so it's kind of like old school. Then there's some newer coaches that, like the Brandon Lynch who was retained, that Mike Houston had a relationship that can relate to the guys. It seems like it's been a really good mix, and I tell you what, the practices have been very, very, so far with spring football, very intense, more than what I've seen previously.
Well, that's great. I mean, I truly believe that practice has to be harder than the games almost. You have to get an intensity level in practice and practice at a high intensity level. So when the game comes and it does get intense, that's what you live in. You're comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's what I tell my kids all the time, man. You guys keep being comfortable, we'll stay the same. You do the same thing over, expect different results. That's insanity, man. So we got to change something. And like I said, what I'm hearing, it sounds like a lot is changing. in a positive way, and it's for the better.
No doubt about it. In fact, we found out at the very least we already about 400 or 500 season tickets over what we did last year with the third year of Montgomery. So even at the very worst, if we didn't sell another season ticket, we're already at 13-1 right now, and hopefully the goal is 17,000. So hopefully we can get people to come in there and watch the Pirates.
Yeah, hey, it's a business of winning, right? You start winning, people start buying tickets. You start winning more, and you start, it all feeds off of each other. So, I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be something fun to watch this year, and hopefully in the right direction.
Shane, I had a question about being the quarterback position, and I call it the curse of Shane Carden. I think it's starting to lift now after 2014. I pray to God. But what are your thoughts on, I'm a huge fan, love his dad, Morgan Ehlers. What are your thoughts on Holton Ehlers?
Man, I mean, to do what he did as a freshman, that's tough, man. I mean, the college level is definitely, a big step up from high school, and to do what he did last year, it's huge. I'm looking forward to him to make that next stride, and again, he holds himself in a very positive, good way, and as a quarterback, you have to do that. You have to be the guy of the team that everyone sees in public, and you have to be the guy doing the right things, saying the right things, even when you don't want to. And everything that's happened that I've seen, it seems that way, and it seems like those guys really rally around him, and he makes people around him better. So I think, if nothing else, I mean, to see what his development is with the new coaching staff and as a second year, being around, getting the whole off season, get a season under his belt, he's going to be at the next level.
And how hard is it to, at your level, being that you've been a coach, well, now you're coaching high school, but as far as learning an offense for a kid like Holton, it's definitely, and now he's got to learn a brand new offense, or I think there may be some similarities, but how much of a learning curve would that be from going from with Tony Peterson with Scotty Montgomery's offense versus now Donnie Kay and Mike Houston?
Well, he came in as a freshman and learned that offense pretty well. Obviously, they slowly got into it as the year went on. But, now as a second-year college guy, he'll understand, the process of learning a playbook and be able to, kind of make some similarities between the two playbooks. And he'll learn this playbook way, way faster than he did last year.
Shane, one of the things that transpired here recently is the news that UConn is making the decision to head back to their roots in the Big East. Do you have any thoughts on that and what you'd like to see the AAC potentially do?
I never really got too much in this whole, conference discussion about who's here and there. It shouldn't matter. If UConn's gone, whatever, so they bring someone in, they don't. It is what it is. You're going to have a schedule. You got to win your games. And I truly believe, man, it's whoever's out in front of you, man. Game plan for them, get ready to go. But, they made a decision best for their school as the athletic director saw it. And, that's what's going to happen.
And basically they gave the fans and the media something to talk about in the slowest time of year for us, right?
That's exactly right. They picked the right time for it so everyone could talk about it.
How can people, is there a way that people can follow your games like that? I know there are a lot of Pirate fans that love to keep up with your career, and is there like any kind of maybe radio or any way we can stream it on TuneIn or is there any like TV or anything?
I'm working on getting some kind of Facebook Live going just to, get these kids a little more exposure, this and that. I got there's a whatever football Instagram page that started up, and we usually put some highlights and pictures and just kind of updates of games and scrimmages and whatever, you have it to get up there. And again, to get these kids more exposure and make it fun. I mean, it's the time we're in, man. Kids want to be on social media. Kids want to put their pictures out there. So we're working on that for now to get that more and more.
That would be fantastic. That would be back to there are a lot of us that look like are geeks, I guess. We love to see those highlights and certainly love to see your coaching. And I know that even though it's a rebuilding year or you're building the culture, so to speak, I know that we're going to be very excited for you when you turn the corner and really build this program up. And you never know if you have state championship in the future. You never know.
Yep, that's right, man. That's obviously the goal, man. I think it's the goal for all of us.
No doubt. Well, Shane, thank you so much. I know that you're busy, and I know you've got balancing, I guess, your real estate career and then head coach of the high school. So appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us, and thank you very much, Shane. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
That concludes this edition of 50 Pirates in 50 Days on the Sports Objective. Remember, join us daily between now and game day as we'll talk Pirate football with players from various eras. All these interviews are available exclusively on SoundCloud and our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe and follow so you're alerted when we post new content. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, go Pirates!